Welcome, everyone, to the All About Nothing podcast, kind of daily show. I am Barrett Gruber, host of the All About Nothing podcast. You can find me across all social media at Barrett Gruber. With me is Brock, who is the coordinator for the Soda City Comic Con, as well as the Coastal Comic Con and the Boardwalk Comic Con. Coastal Comic Con coming up March 6th and 7th, 2027 in Wilmington, North Carolina. I want to make sure that people start hearing that because I'm excited to be going.
Are you actually going to come this time?
Son of a bitch. Yes,
You are welcome to correct me when I make false statements.
You didn't hear my correction, you son of a bitch.
Oh, that's what that was.
I absolutely am planning on coming that weekend. In fact, if you have anything you need me to do or help out Gabe, I will say that one of the things that I probably recognized is how much stress Gabe probably goes through with the back-to-back panels where he only has 10 minutes to run to go get his notes, grab whoever it is that he's taking on stage, and then get back on stage. Because, you know, some of the people that are there as the celebrity guests, they want to kind of hang around and chit chat with you after you get off stage, and it's like, I got 3 minutes. This has gone from a jog to a sprint, and I'm not entirely certain I can get Peter Weller to run at this time. So,
he wouldn't be running.
No.
But the flip side to that is once you get him in there, you can just go, hey, here's your mic and go, and then you're out. You do the, I'm out.
I think I asked you, and not entirely certain if you caught what happened, but I asked you, I think almost as soon as I saw you after the Peter Weller panel, was that a joke on me? Did anyone expect that to happen? As far as and just to explain, basically. As soon as Peter Weller's intro video played, I got up on stage and I said, "All right, welcome, Dr. Peter Weller." And he comes up on stage, and as I'm handing him the microphone, he's got one hand on his shoulder, and I'm handing him the microphone, and in my ear he goes, "Barrett, I just want to apologize for what's about to happen." Didn't understand what that meant, and then he retreated, or he moved towards the front of the stage. And he said, everybody, I know you're here to hear Barrett ask me questions, but we're just going to go ahead and open it up to questions from the audience. And that was it. For 53 minutes, that's what happened.
He made your life easy.
Oh, for sure.
53 minutes. Did you go get a snack or get a drink? Or
I stood there for 53 minutes, stage right, just... You know,
were you even on the stage or were you behind the curtain?
Nope, I stayed on the stage. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know.
You should just sat down in the chair and just kind of kick back and be like, I'm just going to take a nap. Y'all wake me when it's done.
Yeah, I had considered that at one point. I don't know. One of Lauren's production people that was operating the camera right next to me, he and I kept making eye contact at each other, and he's just giggling. In my head, I was like, he knew, everybody knew. Everyone knew but me. That's what I assumed. But you sent me a link from Stern Pinball, which was one of the group's partners. Do we call them partners? Because
between Marco's Specialties and Stern and Jersey Jack, they're probably there's no probably. They are the ones that help put together the incredible pinball setup that we have every year at Soda City Comic Con, and so we have to give as many thanks and kudos and bells and whatever you got to thank them for what they do for the event, because without them, it just wouldn't be possible. Without that support, and that partnership that we've been able to establish and grow over the last several years, it just wouldn't be possible. And I think that. As you probably know, and probably not very many people know, South Carolina, this past legislative session, I believe they passed a law that made pinball now legal. Believe it or not, pinball was illegal, and I believe it was considered a game of chance and not a game of skill, and now they've changed that. And so now anybody can play pinball. I think it was banned for people under 18. Some archaic old law that was on the books that they rectified. But so now pinball is available and free for all to play.
The absurdity
without the fear of arrest and prosecution. But of course, nobody had been doing that for decades. So.
The absurdity that pinball could have potentially been illegal. I mean, you don't.
Well, it was back in the day,
right? But it's not gambling. I mean, has it ever been a you play well, you get money? I guess tournaments.
I don't know. I don't know about back in the day, but I know I was talking to Josh from Transmission Arcade, who's also another supporter of the event.
Yeah,
and we got to talking about. It was either New York or Chicago or one of the cities banned it, and then the other one banned it in retaliation, and basically kind of a tit for tat, similar to trade tariffs and trade wars that this country likes to find itself a party to. And when New York basically banned pinball or something to that effect, they rounded up all these various pinball machines and they dumped them in the Hudson. And the reason we were talking about this was because I got to talking about 52 Topps High Series baseball cards that Topps ended up dumping in the Hudson because they printed all these cards and nobody wanted to buy them because it was at the end of the season. Well, 52 Topps, if anybody's a baseball collector, the High Series, they know that contains the most expensive post-World War II baseball card, and the Mickey Mantle Topps rookie card. Although it's not as technically as rookie, that's a 51 Bowman, but it's the first Topps Mickey Mantle card, and a PSA 10, of which there are 3 in the world, are worth $25 million or more each.
Gotcha.
So, and the only reason that they're worth as much, I mean, granted, they'd still be worth a lot of money, but, scarcity drives price in a lot of collectibles, and when you dump hundreds of tons worth of cards in the Hudson and destroy them because nobody wanted to buy them at the end of 1952 or early 53. That's it. So apparently there's a lot of things at the bottom of the Hudson: baseball cards, pinball machines, subway cars that they've dumped off there to create artificial reefs. I mean, who knows what's in the bottom? John, what's his name?
Potentially some of my family members, maybe.
No.
Well. All right. Well, let me share this video from Stern Pinball, again, one of the partners at Soda City Comic Con 2026.
You didn't even do the welcome. We didn't even done the welcome yet.
You're right. Oh, okay. Sorry. Welcome, Brock, to the show. Also, if you want to participate in the show, you can follow us, chat with us on actually right now Twitch and YouTube are where Facebook apparently failed on me tonight, so not entirely certain what's going on with their situation, but anyway, if you want to chat with us, you can follow us. You can follow the links at our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. We're going to get into it. So this is a video from that Stern Pinball put as one of their shorts for that they did from Soda City Comic Con this weekend. Yep. So I'm just going to pop that in there. That's great.
For a reel. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Gandalf and Vader and look like a Bubba. You okay, puppy? Oh.
Hold
on. You okay?
Are we about to get some action live? Is that what's about to happen?
You okay? I don't know. She was kind of coughing or something.
Yeah.
Hey, you okay? All right, go play.
I can say I did get down there and played some pinball for a little bit. I also got a lot of B-roll of people playing pinball, kids playing pinball. So glad that it's not illegal for them to do it.
Yeah,
even though it's
they're
free.
no longer breaking the law. Yeah.
Right. So,
it's true. It's true.
But I have to, from my perspective, I know that for you and Steve and the rest of your staff that the event, as fun as it is, can obviously be a lot of stress, and there's a lot of things going on. Parts are moving all over the place, and so as someone who is a fan of what it is that you and Steve do, I appreciate all the effort that goes into it. It was absolutely a ton of fun this weekend, and I appreciated the opportunity to be able to get on stage with a number of these celebrities that were there. Everyone from the anime actors like Bryn April and Brian Massey, as well as Catherine Disher and Chris Britton. And then the opportunity to hang out with the cast from Revenge of the Nerds, Curtis Armstrong, Julia Montgomery, and Larry B. Scott. Yes, thank you. Sorry. You know what? I was doing really good at remembering names. I don't have them written down anywhere in front of me, and I was remembering. The only person we didn't get to talk to that was there was Wilson Bethel, who of course is currently in the Daredevil series Born Again with what's his name? Matthew Cox or Charlie Cox. See, fuck, I can't get any names right, but I got some of them right. That's all that's important. But it was an absolute blast.
If you had wanted to talk, if you don't want to talk to him, we could have arranged that.
Oh, for sure. And ultimately, it really just came down to time. Like we just ran out of time.
Because I'm busy. I have children interrupting. Go. You are. Go to your room or go eat something. Yeah, just do something. You're harassing me, Barrett and I.
But it was absolutely
the joy of live broadcasting.
Oh, I know. It was absolutely a fantastic event, and I kudos to again you, Steve, and the rest of the staff, because I can't imagine what it takes to put something like that on.
Well, it was our 11th year, and fortunately, we do have a fantastic staff. Amy's our operations manager. We've got a great kind of security guy, and Paul, one of our better handlers. Unfortunately for him, had gone out west to go and promote his own business, so he wasn't there to crop dust on any celebrities, which is what he's most famous for. And I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. And we just, Convention Center has a nice staff. I don't always see eye to eye with every one of them, but overall they're solid folk. Food's actually pretty good. I'll give them credit for that. It's not super expensive. Parking is a little something to be improved upon. I blame the city. We'd love for them to expand the convention center. So if you're watching and you wanted to send them an email saying, hey, expand the convention center, I'm sure they'd love to run that up the flagpole to city leaders and county leaders and state leaders saying, hey, there's a need for larger space. I think that we could bring in more guests. We could bring in some bigger guests.
Mayor Rickerman and his council members need to get on that.
Well, the latest word on the street is that any expansion plans are currently DOA. So that doesn't help us, but we are. No, I did not throw away your cake. I ate it. The joy of having a MacBook and having all your devices connected from one to another is that your kid can send you a text message and it shows up on your phone and the MacBook, which you're currently on Twitch and whatever the other one was. Instagram.
I like to call it synchronicity. It's iPhones, iPad, iMac, whatever.
And he just sent me a text and said, "Did you throw away my cake?" And I said, "No." And then he's like, "Boy," so he's not happy about that. You know what? If you dig down in that box, you might find a Rice Krispie treat. See, people are going to be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting a look at what it's like to be a single father of two teenagers," and I'm going to be like, "Don't sign up for it. It's not what I thought it was supposed to be." It's not so bad.
I'm only a couple years away from mine entering teenage hood, and while I'd like to think that I have the composure to potentially handle whatever situations.
You will.
I will just say this: they have fair warning of capital punishment if they come into my office while I'm recording. So
mine don't care.
I said capital punishment. I meant corporal punishment. Corporal punishment was what we had in high school with our assistant principal with the paddle. That's what it was.
Yeah, well, yeah, that ship has sailed.
Well, are there any insights you can tell us from the weekend? What was successful? What you thought could be improved?
Well, I mean, overall, the event was a success. I mean, we got a couple nickels to rub against each other, so we will be back for 2027. We've already started talking about Coastal. We've already started talking about Soda City 27. We're at some point we're going to have to make the leap, and I don't know what the leap looks like, but the leap looks like you're jumping into the deep end, and you're hoping like hell when you land you're going to be able to swim. And we're thinking about finding ways to expand the event, to bringing in more attractions, to adding more space, to trying to get a bigger buy-in. No. To try to bring in more support, whether it be through sponsorships or through partnerships like we have with Marco and Stern and Jersey Jack, and this year was T-Mobile Fiber who came. So if you're looking for fiber for your house, cheap plug, go to T-Mobile. I guess it's T-MobileFiber.com and see if your zip code is eligible for fiber. I would love to have fiber. I would love to get rid of Spectrum, but unfortunately, we don't have that option right now.
It hadn't made it all the way out there yet.
No,
I say
it
all
hasn't.
the way out
But
there.
it's
not far.
Well, with the new 800-pound gorilla across the bridge, it will make it out here because It's only a matter of time. So, and eventually we'll have fiber, and I will be so much happier because I believe it's cheaper and faster and more reliable. So,
I will give my fiber company a plug. I have Carolina Connect because we are on an electric co-op through Mid Carolina, and I've had it for about 2 years now, and I pay $99 for 2.5 gigabit speed, which is, I think, phenomenal. So, but yeah. So successes. What was successful this year?
Well, all the celebrities got into town without much of a hitch. One of them had a flight canceled in Charlotte, so I sent a ride to pick her up. Everybody got out on Sunday evening, no issues. So I consider that a success. At the most recent coastal show back in March, everybody's plane out of Atlanta was canceled into Wilmington, and we had to end up flying everybody in Saturday morning into Myrtle Beach, drive down there to pick them all up, then drive them back. Yeah, Insane. So that was a disaster. But we recovered and we got by. So the fact that everybody made it with minimal delay, there was some delay and one small change of plan, but outside of that, everything was okay. Nobody got hurt at the event. Everybody seemed happy at the event. All the panels, from what I can tell, went off without a hitch. I didn't get to see a single minute of it, but fortunately, we record them, and we will get them on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch them on our YouTube page, which is just pretty much surprise, Soda City Comic-Con. So like and subscribe so you can check out our panels from this year, last year, and the year before. I think that's as far back as we go. I'm currently in the process of soliciting feedback from our vendors, and from what I can tell, most vendors, not everybody's going to be thrilled. I don't think anybody's upset, but for the most part, I think everybody was happy with the weekend, and they'll want to come back. We're looking at making some changes for next year. What that ultimately looks like, I don't know, but we're looking to bring more and better to the Midlands. And talking to another one of our biggest supporters, Stephen Miano at That Computer Store. There's another plug. Go check them out. They're on Harbison Boulevard. I don't have their address, but you can Google That Computer Store, and
they're right next door to Total Wine, over off of Columbiana Drive. My ex's brother works in that store.
Total Wine?
No, in the That Computer Store.
Oh. Well, I was going to say it's next to Dan's Fan City, which is my favorite store. That's my second favorite store in that complex, Dan's Fan City. Yeah, love it. Every time I go, I take a picture of it, and I send it to a friend whose husband's name is Dan. So, anyways, if you can't find That Computer Store, you can find Dan's Fan City. So they're getting a free shout out too. Anywho, I was talking to Steven about it, and he said that the great thing about this event is that it brings in all things pop culture into a city that historically has lacked that that culture.
Yeah.
And we know there's another event that's similar to this that's kind of moved in, and that's fine. There's enough room to be successful for everybody. We are Columbia's homegrown con. I live here. There are others that come in here and do events. They may not live here. So choose where you want to do your business. You can do it with people who come in, run an event, take the money and leave, or people that keep the money here. We tend to keep our money here. We're proud of the fact that we have, maybe not this year, but in the past, we've had multiple multi-million-dollar economic impacts on the weekend of Columbia. That's something that's really good, again, which is why we've encouraged the city leaders and county leaders and state leaders to, hey, start investing in us, because we can produce, we can bring in people. We're going to, again, like I said, we're looking to grow. We're looking to make a deep dive. We're looking to jump in and hope like hell we swim. And what I mean by that is bringing in big guests. And what's a big guest? Think Hayden Christensen type big guest. I'm not by any means saying that we're going to bring in Hayden Christensen, but that is a name that has been floated around.
Sure.
Steve and I were at GalaxyCon a few weeks ago. He was a guest there. He sold out, and it brings in tens of thousands of people. Not everybody gets to see him, but just to be a part of that atmosphere for a lot of people is enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I
overall,
agree.
yeah, overall, not an A+. We, there were some other factors that probably limited people's ability, or they went to other places, and that's okay. We got to find a way to differentiate ourselves. We got to find a way to make ourselves a must see TV, basically what they would say.
Yeah.
We want to become a regional player, and so we're going to take the steps that we feel is necessary to make that happen.
Yeah.
But let's move on. Let's move on to the fact that South Carolina is going to elect its second female senator.
Well, it's all right.
You know what?
Hold on. We're going to be electing our first female senator.
No. Second one, and it may be from the same family.
Oh, well, Darlene Graham wasn't elected. Oh, shit.
There you go. There you go.
It took me a second.
There you go. Now you're reading the tea leaves.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, absolutely. South Carolina is going to be forced to elect a woman senator to the United States, to Washington, D.C. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I made a prediction yesterday before the voting started. And I'll admit, I checked Kalshi, I checked Polymarket just to see what they were saying, and they both predicted that Darlene Graham would win. One of them had her by 9 or 10%, and the other one was like 7%. And I felt like 7% was probably accurate. I went during the election, or during the actual voting yesterday, there were reports that there was a significant amount of voting that was taking place in person at the up in the upstate, which tends to give Norman more of an edge, but that towards the PD and over and down in Charleston towards Beaufort, that there was also a lot of voting that was going on. I think Lexington had greater than expected, but all in all, throughout the course of the state, out of 3 million some odd registered voters, and then of course you have to cut that down to 2/3 of that as the number of Republicans that potentially would have been available to vote. I think the state of South Carolina had 12% voters show up, which is better, I think, than most of the counties thought was going to happen, which most of the counties were banking on there being about 8% participation. So 12% is good. It shows that there was some interest. And out of it, we have Darlene Graham versus Annie Andrews. And right now, according to the polls that were done literally 2 days ago and then tabulated today with data from yesterday from people exit polling, Annie Andrews and Darlene Graham are in a dead heat. So who knows? I mean, I don't think we've elected a Democratic senator in like 30 years from South Carolina.
Last one, if I'm not mistaken.
That doesn't. Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. So who knows? I know who I'm voting for.
So do I.
So I think the likelihood is that I think it's going to be an extremely close one, and it's going to come down to turnout. So the only and I don't care who people vote for. I really don't. I'd like the people that I vote for to win, but I just want people to turn out and vote. Like, just, it is the smallest, most insignificant it's the smallest amount of effort you can do to participate in what is this democratic experiment. Just get off, whatever it takes, just get out there and fucking vote. We'll have 2 weeks of early voting starting in October in order to actually, you've got plenty of time. It doesn't have to be, you're not making you don't have to actually make a real sacrifice. This is easy to do. There's plenty of time to do it. Just do it. That's my spiel. That's my soapbox.
And they've got mail-in voting, contrary to what the president wants, which is very interesting that the president rails about mail-in voting and how it's fraudulent and just ripe for voter fraud, and yet that's the method he uses to vote. So
here's purely out of curiosity, do you think that he remembers that he votes by mail? Or does I suspect that there is a piece of what is left in his brain that he thinks that he may have showed up and voted, or that his or that for him it's potential that he thinks that mail-in voting is the same as voting in person. I don't know. I have to attribute every possibility. There are infinite number of universes where Donald Trump is doing an infinite number of things related to voting, and I think that they could all be going on in his head at the same time. That's dementia. I don't know. Not a diagnostician, but I absolutely 100% firmly believe that we have a president that has that is dementiated. And someone asked me, they said, well, what's the difference between that and Reagan and his dementia? I said, Reagan had dementia, but it was associated with Alzheimer's. That was Reagan's, second term was, is that my wife or is that a lamp? But it's the difference is that Trump's dementia could be purely genetic. It could be related to syphilis. It could be related to some sort of an infection that he got in the 70s from some hooker on a street in New York City, but what he is experiencing is frontal temporal dementia and with malignant narcissism, like absolutely 100%. This is an individual who is his brain is rotting in real time, and we're all here to see it. And I will say this, that this week alone, the Grim Reaper is taking the wrong 80-year-olds. That is, we lost Dolly Parton yesterday. Today we found out that Tim Curry passed away. And it is, I was a fan of Dolly Parton. She is, because of a situation when she was younger and during the ages when she could have had children, she had something medically happen or whatever it was, but she was unable to have children. So she took it upon herself to basically adopt all children. And her legacy will live on through Dolly Parton's legacy books that they still send and will continue to send free. If you sign up as a parent, you can Google it. But they will send you a children's book that is styled in a way that helps children learn to read and strengthens their imaginations and things like that. But they have her charity has probably spent tens of millions of dollars on this over the course of the last 25, 30 years. And it is absolutely just, she was such just a light in what was potential. I mean, she could have, being a country artist and a pop star and things like that, she could have had a big head about herself. She could have done things that would have potentially embarrassed us as human beings, but She didn't. She everything she did was to the benefit of everyone around her. When she bought her own music away from, oh, what was the guy's name? He was her manager, and he was in just absolute. He was in bankruptcy. She bought her music library from him for like $5 million, pulled him out of the gutter, and then, you know, when well, that was after she gave it, after he sued her for it, but she said, you know what, you can have it, and gave him $5 million. I think that's how it happened. Like, gave him $5 million, and then at some point she bought the music back from him, and Port Wagner, I think, maybe that was his name. But anyway, it doesn't matter. She never did anything, publicly at least, that seemed to have a negative impact on anybody. And just, I didn't know this also. Apparently, her husband Carl Dean passed away this year, back in March. So, like, you know, so she lost her husband earlier this year, at 82, and we lost her yesterday. So, I think, and I don't know that there's anyone that could legitimately say anything negative about Dolly Parton. Yeah, I don't know. You know, and then Tim Curry passing away today. Tim Curry, I was a huge fan of. I think that the wrong co-star from Home Alone 2 passed away today. Just saying.
He was in the movie.
He was in the movie, and he had an odd expression looking at the young Macaulay Culkin in that, which I read somewhere, somebody, one of the people that was on the production staff for that movie said that said they had to do that take several times because the way that Donald Trump leers at children is awkward. So well, it didn't quite make the movie.
Well, I read that the only reason he was in that film is that was the requirement to be able to film in the plaza, was that he would have a scene in the movie, and so they acquiesced, and whatever. I mean, you know, whatever, no big deal. But
yeah. Well, you know,
who knew? Who knew at the time what would happen?
Malignant narcissist. So
well, there you go.
But yeah, no. Tim Curry, of course. The Clue was one of his big movies, which I still look back fondly. He did the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which was, you know, I've watched Rocky Horror Picture Show and enjoyed it for what it was, but there is a whole, you know, population of people that Tim Curry's passing is having a huge effect. So if you have friends that are either Gen X, part of the LGBTQ plus community, or they are potentially people that dress and drag, check on them today, because Tim Curry was a legend in that community. So he will be missed as well. Yeah. Trying to think. We could rail on Darlene Graham some more if you wanted.
No, I just you know, I love how they've attached her sister's last name to her, and that they just you know, it's you know, I don't like this the idea of seats belonging to families or
agreed.
Yeah, so like I actually thought it was the coolest idea, and it was well received to have her serve out Lindsay, which again that name can also go both ways, to serve out the late senator's term. I thought that was a great idea. I thought it was a good move, and I fully supported it. And now it may turn around to bite everybody in the butt, because she clearly doesn't know what she's doing, or if she does know what she's doing a really poor job of faking it. But
yeah,
just, you know, it's like, and I'll say the same thing about Jim Clyburn. And Jim Clyburn has been the representative from Congressional District 6 for like forever and a day, it seems like. And I think that his goal is to, when he retires or dies, for one of his daughters to take that seat. And I am not a fan of that.
Yeah.
It is not Clyburn District 6. It is the South Carolina Congressional District number 6, and it should belong to the people. And I mean, of course, anybody can run that lives. Well, you don't even have to live in the district; you just have to live in the district when you're sworn in. So anybody could run for it. But I just don't like the idea of these multi-family generations just like saying, "Oh, this is my seat, and I'm going to pass it down from one to the next." I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I agree.
Yeah.
And
Democrats or Republicans.
And ultimately, yeah, because there should never be any sort of legacy attached to any elected office, as far as I'm concerned. Because there was concerns that there was talk when HW won, and then we had Clinton for 8 years, and then W won, and there was concern that then I guess after that, his brother Jeb was going to run. So there was there at one point Jeb did pretty good in the polls, but there was this fear that we were going to see this legacy. It started out in 1800 with John Adams, and then John Quincy Adams won in, what was he, fourth president or fifth president, something like that. Madison was he the sixth? So we've had a history of families being, I guess, elected. We've had that in our history.
Yeah.
But nothing stays fresh. The Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt won in early 1900s, and then his cousin Franklin wins, and to me that might be enough separation, plus the benefits of having Theodore Roosevelt as the president that basically gave us the national park system, and then Franklin Roosevelt gave us the
New Deal,
socialized healthcare and
interstates,
Social Security.
Well, Eisenhower did interstates. The Hoover Dam,
true.
like a lot of the infrastructure in the country.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I will tell you this: just Eisenhower being, I think, one of the most fantastic presidents we've had. Roosevelt being a fantastic president. I think that the next president that comes along with a project similar to what Eisenhower did with the interstate system will probably be the president that really brings us out of whatever it is that we're going through now. Like I have told presidential candidates before us, if you want to create jobs in this country at an epic level, to bring the poverty level up, to bring the unemployment rate down, build an intercontinental water system that takes water from places that have an abundance of it and moves it to places that have less or don't have any. You can build it right along next to the interstate system and distribute water across the country. And it can, the maintenance of it is going to be epic for the economy. The building of it is just going to be in the shot in the arm that we need, and ultimately it solves a problem. If we have flooding going on somewhere, and we can have the same massive pumps that they use down in Louisiana, in New Orleans when flooding happens, or in New York City when the subways flood, have a system built that can put it in pipes and move it from one place. We already do it with oil. Why not do water?
They bring oil to a certain place and then they truck it to where it needs to go, and then they do gasoline. But they have pipes when they're pulling oil out of the rigs offshore, and they pipe it into the shore and all that stuff. So it could be done. It would be a massive undertaking. But you're right. I've always told people that will listen to me, and the numbers are starting to dwindle, that the ultimate resource that people are going to that very well may be the downfall of civilization. It's not fossil fuels. It's not food. It's not any sort of energy. It's fresh water.
Yeah. That
is what's going to be what wars are fought over moving forward. At some point, it will be fresh water, because every life as we know it is 100% dependent. Carbon-based life is 100% dependent upon water. Everything needs it in some capacity.
Yeah.
And those that have it will be more precious than gold, silver, platinum, oil, gasoline, natural gas, any resource you can think of. Water, because if I forget what the principle is, I don't know what matter can neither be created nor destroyed.
Yep.
So there's
It can
only so
be
much
transferred.
water. Yeah, it can be transferred from So I forget what that's called, but my kids would know. But there's so much fresh water in other places, but most societies can't get to it. Either in Alaska or locked up in the Arctic, the Arctic North or whatever, and and then if all that fresh water melts and it blends into the ocean, then all your coastal cities are gone. But that doesn't help because all that water becomes salt water.
Yep.
So water is the big thing. You're right. If anybody could solve that problem, they'd be the hero of the 21st century.
Yeah.
No doubt about
it. Last thing I want to say, which I thought was really cool, as I was driving yesterday doing my technician jobs as a rover for the elections. As I was driving around between Boiling Springs, South Carolina, and which is over, there are two Boiling Springs apparently. It's one in Lexington and then one up towards the PD. But
it's in Spartanburg.
That's right. It is in Spartanburg. One of the things that I saw driving around, and it did not occur to me that we had, especially in an area that I would have assumed would have been pretty anti this. There is a solar farm that is about 60 acres. This is an enormous solar farm, and it has the same technology built into those advanced solar farms where the solar panels rotate as the sun crosses the sky. It was actually, it might have been off of Mac Edisto in Lexington. I don't quote me on that. I don't remember exactly, but the fact that is there, it is a huge solar farm. I don't know if maybe how it all came to be. I'd like to research it and find out who it is that owns it and talk about it. But these solar farms, I know Trump hates the idea of using solar panels in places where nothing else is going on, and this is agricultural land that could be used potentially to grow corn or something like that. But is it necessary in the grand scheme of things to have corn growing everywhere when we already have corn? Although this year I think it's been pretty tough, with the lack of rain that we've had. But it was just really cool. I drove past it twice yesterday, and at one point they in the morning it was pointed towards the east, or they were going towards the east, and then in the afternoon they were going to the west, and
that's really cool.
It was just really cool to see, and I am not offended at seeing windmills either. So I think that South Carolina could host windmills. I have zero issue with seeing. I see windmills and I'm like, oh, that's great. That's out there generating power.
I mean, they're not really windmills the way that we think of them, with the little barn structure.
Right. No, you're right. You're right.
The Dutch windmills or whatever. Those are windmills. They're wind farms, or those big, huge
turbines.
Type.
Wind turbines. That's what they're called. I don't have an issue with wind turbines. And
you don't really want them killing all the birds. I don't know if they kill birds or whatever, but I don't know. They're not exactly the most attractive things. What about those poles out there that shake back and forth and generate electricity?
But they make wind turbines also that are a pole, and then it is a set of blades that just spin around it.
Yeah, that one's okay. Yeah.
So
I don't like the ones with the big propellers. It looks like a helicopter's turned on its side and it's just.
Yeah. I would say that Trump Tower has probably been responsible for killing more birds than all of the wind turbines across the country, the history of the wind turbines, because birds fly into windows a lot.
That's a very interesting observation. You would think that the bird would be smart enough to see the other bird coming and say, hey, I should not do that. Because, it's like, I'm going to run this other bird, boom, and then they're like...
I think I heard that birds have an unwritten rule that you never turn in a game of chicken.
That's what I'm saying. They're playing chicken, and they're like, "Yep, we're gonna keep going," and boom, they hit, and they're like, it's like Randy Johnson's fastball meets that bird. Poof.
Well, on that disappointment, I will wrap it up. Brock, thanks for being here. Congratulations again on another successful Soda City Comic Con. It was, like I said, it was absolutely fantastic, and I'm looking forward to next year. But I'm looking forward to Coastal Comic Con coming up in March. I think this time I'm gonna have to get a room in the party hotel, directly where you're staying, man.
Oh, I wouldn't. You seem to really overestimate what we do after 6:30.
No. I'm just saying I want to be in.
Bro.
I want to be in the same hotel as the celebrities that come in town, so that if we're all just hanging out at the bar, I can hang out with them beforehand. You know, because
we've done a little bit of that, and there are some perks to hanging out at the hotel. One year we had Billy West, and he needed a phone charger, and so I had to go get him a phone charger and bring it to his room, and that was a little awkward. And yeah, you don't really think anything about it. But
I keep hearing stories about Cal Dodd, voice of Wolverine from the X-Men '97 series and the X-Men animated series, being an epic karaoke singer.
I haven't heard that.
Oh, you hadn't? Oh, well, that was one of the things that I've heard as part of conversations that go on. In fact, Catherine and Chris Britton also, they confirmed that this weekend. So,
well, the next time I'm at a show and I see him, and he would absolutely remember me. I'll be like, so we're going to karaoke later tonight, and he'll probably be like, oh wow, where do you want to go?
Yeah. Do that.
Yeah, but
all right.
he doesn't go anywhere without Miss Donna, who's a sweetheart.
That's okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, he is one of the ones that we've never actually been able to get a conversation with, because he was extremely busy 2 years ago when he was in Columbia, and then last year at Coastal, he had a little bit of a head cold, and his wife was a little concerned that being close to him. I know he signed autographs and took pictures all day. That is the obligation is to do that with the fans. I didn't want to put him in a situation that was going to wear him out or anything like that. But he is, Cal Dodd is absolutely genuinely one of the kindest people I've met in that whole industry. Just fantastic human being. So, all right. Well, on that bombshell, we'll wrap it up. Thanks very much for everybody listening. Thanks for watching. Don't forget you can follow me at Barrett Gruber. You can also go and follow Soda City Comic Con. Visit sodacitycomiccon.com. You can follow all the social media accounts. I know I'm going to give you stuff to publish out there here, hopefully in the next week or so. But just and we're going to be getting ready for Coastal Comic Con coming up in March. So we've got about 6 months to prepare for that, and it's going to be epic weekend in Wilmington, North Carolina as well. So please get your tickets now. If you get your tickets now, flights are less expensive, is what I've heard. So.
I mean, I don't know anybody flying into Wilmington, but if you want to fly into Wilmington, come on.
I'm not going to fly into Wilmington. If South Carolina had a direct flight to Wilmington, I'd be down. But I'm pretty sure in order to fly to Wilmington, you have to go out of you have to go out of like Jacksonville or Charlotte or Atlanta.
Charlotte, yeah,
Pass.
Charlotte. Yeah. Some of those spots. I think there are direct flights into Wilmington. I think Orlando's one, Atlanta's one, Charlotte's one. It's just up and down. I think they have a flight maybe to New York, Philly, Washington, those places. But
yeah, well,
nothing from South Carolina.
I don't think between now and then I'm going to get my pilot's license, because I think I have to get a certain number of flight hours. But the day will come when I'll just fly to Myrtle Beach or fly to.
Are you taking pilot lessons?
I'm giving it serious consideration to going ahead and doing it. I keep saying that it's something that I want to do. I want to do it, because renting a plane for a weekend really isn't that big of an expense in the grand scheme of things. When you consider the price of fuel, your time. I mean, to take like a little 4-passenger Cessna from Columbia to Wilmington, you get there in about an hour and a half, and your plane just sits on the tarmac over there, or you can rent a space in a hangar. But I don't know. I don't want to go down like the Big Bopper, but it does sound nice to not have to sit in a car for. plus the view, right? I mean,
Yeah, you would get a good view.
So I'm giving it some serious consideration this time around. Depends on what my bonus looks like in November. If my bonus looks really good, I might consider it. We'll see. All right.
Let's go bonus.
Let's
go bonus.
Let's go bonus for sure. All right. Thanks for liking and hitting that bell. If you can, give us a 5-star review or leave a comment. Until next time, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself.
And I didn't get fired, but Zach is back on other shows.
That's right.